Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Challenge series. We're on day 11 of trying to make 9 eagles. As you can tell by the fact that we have had 10 unsuccessful tries, this is getting quite difficult. 9 eagles on that's half of the standard 18 holes. Not going to be an easy task, but it would be really cool to do. So we're going to lock in and make as many eagles as possible. We'll start on hole 1 here. Now I do start in that sport selection mode, so I get completely random conditions. So there's no set seed, there's no replaying the same shot a couple of times and trying that. We're just playing random conditions, random pins on the holes that can have them. Now with this diagonal wind and front pin, this feels like a really makeable shot, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to need a level of precision. I'm thinking I want to adjust this to about there. That feels about right. I'll have to hit this with the pretty exact power. And we'll see if we can finally make a non-zero wind hole 1. Zero miles an hour, not very difficult. 2 miles an hour, adds some challenge to it. That's what I wanted to do. If that kicks to the left a little bit and rolls nicely and in, it will. All right, a chip-in eagle on hole 1. The game calls it a chip-in. That's really just a make. So a nice eagle from the fairway. And we're 1 for 1. Let's see if we can pick one up on hole 2. It would feel excellent to get a bunch of early eagles, because a whole bunch of times in this challenge, we don't end up with the early eagles and we start making them later. And then I'm like, oh, I wish I had some early eagles. But we'll see if we can do a little bit better in the early going this time. So that middle left pin, I'm going to want to use the spoon. Maybe about that much power. It's going to move left with the wind, and then the roll is going to be back to the right. So I think this adjustment feels pretty good. We'll give it a run. That felt pretty good. If that gets a good kick and a nice roll. Ooh, it hits the fringe on the second bounce. And I've noticed when it hits that fringe, it comes out real hot. Now, sometimes that helps. There have been a couple of times when the shot was trending a little bit too low and the fringe hit causes it to, get a lot more power and sink. But today, it looked like it was on a good line if it hit the green on the second shot. But it does hit the fringe. We'll have to make a birdie on hole 2. So not the easiest of hole 2s. That's not my favorite pin to try to go for. Also, some moderate crosswind added some difficulty to it. We'll see if we can pick one up on hole 3. Oftentimes, one that I rely on because unless we see like strong wind in the face, it's usually a pretty straightforward chip on the third shot, or sometimes we can reach it in 2. But today we see that first item. So we see light winds. I should be able to put this close but not on the green in 2 shots. And we'll have a chip that we've had very frequently that I've made a number of times. So I'm liking the setup here. We should end up just short of the green. Just a full power driver off the deck.
Nice shot.
We'll be a little short of that bunker, hopefully. If we're in it, that's actually also fine. So we'll be 30 yards short in the rough. This should be about a 2-dot chip, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, slightly over 2 dots. The wind is going to push this slightly right. So maybe an extra tick left on the adjustment. I want to hit this a little over 2 dots of power. So about pin high is the aim point on the power meter. And as long as this lands left with the proper spin and the proper power, it should be able to roll back nicely. That felt good. It'll sneak back around that pin. I almost hit the pin, but I don't. The eagle will fall. That gave me a little bit of a nervous rush when I saw it trending that close to the pin. Because hitting the pin on that shot is the most heartbreaking thing. But we don't do it. We'll pick up the eagle on 3. And we'll have 9-mile-an-hour winds on hole 5 here. Now I want to land this like about short, like if pretty close to the pin, I'd say. like left or right, you want to be on the right side of the pin, but the kick goes to the right. So landing it pretty much dead on, but a little bit short, should kick it safely right of the pin. Now, granted, I haven't been able to actually execute that with a lot of frequency, but that's the goal. And I mean, if you're trying to make hole-in-ones, you have to try to be real precise with it. So I'm thinking that shot feels pretty good. The 5-iron versus the 3-iron is always a tough decision. But I think I like this play. We'll give it a run, hopefully put it close. The 5-iron, however, sometimes tends to glide to a stop rather than rolling back. I don't know why. It feels like it should bite harder than the 3-iron, but it often doesn't. So, you know what? We'll just give it a shot.
Nice shot.
That felt good. That looks pretty good. Hopefully that comes back. Okay, so that one will bite a little bit too hard. So I had that pretty much where I wanted it. Just a level of difficulty with any sort of wind on this hole that I wasn't able to get the exact precision to hit that real small target. So we'll tap in for the birdie after missing it about a cup wide. Not a bad shot. I mean, I would take that in a competitive round, but not an eagle, which we need. What kind of wind do we have here on hole 5? So, wind that's not really going to do a whole lot for us. Now this should be just a drive that I just hit full power, left of that big pine tree. The second shot, I'm going to want to hit just as far as possible, as close to the green as I can. And the third shot's going to have to be a chip in. So sometimes we're able to reach the green in 2. We've had that a couple times in this challenge series, but you can't rely on hitting this green every single time. So we'll see if we can pick up a nice third eagle on this one with a little bump and run strategy.
Nice shot.
It felt like a pretty good shot. That should give us a nice line with maybe, I guess, the 7-iron from down here to roll this one up there. Now, a lot of times I've hit this one a little bit too hard, so I'll have to be careful of that. I don't think this is going to move a ton to the right, so this adjustment actually feels pretty good. Maybe I'll aim it to about there and just hit it about that much power, I'd say. Hopefully that gets a good kick. Oh, and it'll lip out. I did make a tiny little last second adjustment, if you saw. Just another, like, tiny bit to the left, and it misses just a tiny bit to the left. So I said in an earlier video that those last second adjustments often hurt you. And we see an example of it there. So we'll tap that in for a birdie after a real close call on hole 5. If we can pick up one more at least on the front, so we have 4 more holes to do it. Now, granted, none of them are often guaranteed eagles, or really even, you know, easier ones. We'll see a real difficult condition here on hole 6. Even just putting it on the green with a makeable birdie putt is difficult with these winds, so I don't exactly know what I'm going to have to do here. I'm just going to hit this to the right. Hopefully be able to put it over the trees. Now I put myself in the rough, which is not good. That moved a lot more to the right than I thought it would with that wind. And I'm going to have to use... I don't even know, because the 3-iron is going to come in so low. I may just be in big trouble here. Like, do I just go for the green? I have to try to make it, right? That's the goal of this challenge. Bless you. But I really just don't have a chance. I don't know. Do I hit a little, like, hook shot? Now, I could really mess this hole up. Do I hit a little, like, hook shot with the driver? Like, low around the trees? What do I need? Like, 2 dots of power? Just launch this one out to the left. Maybe I'll try that. This feels really like a bad idea, though. Okay, I mean, it'll make its way there. It was just a little bit too high up, and it clipped a tree. But that's a better result than I thought I might end up with, so I guess I'll take that. Okay, this chip is going to move a whole lot. It's going to kick to the right down that hill, too. So this is just a tough wind condition on hole 6. One of the toughest ones that we've seen. Actually, maybe the toughest, because that is the maximum wind, and probably the worst direction you can see on hole 6. So this might be the toughest hole 6 we ever face. At least in this challenge. If I can make that birdie... Wow. A chip-in birdie. On a bad drive that landed in the rough, gave me no chance. A hookshot driver that just clips the tree. And then a crosswind chip-in. So not the most fundamental of plays on hole 6 there, but we'll get the birdie. Tough hole 7. Hole 7 can be so mean sometimes, and it can be so nice other times. But today we're seeing it be mean. I'm just going to hit a lighter 3-iron because the wind is going to push that a whole lot. We're going to have to hit a 3-iron here because the spoon needs to have a very straight shot to get through the proper gap in the trees. And with this wind, it's just not possible. So we'll have to hit the 3-iron up and over the top. Now this is going to move substantially to the left with this wind. And the power is just going to be kind of difficult to judge. So just a real tough play here. Maybe about there for power with some backspin, I guess. But that's what it is. It's a guess. Hopefully put it close. Oh, and I underpowered it. Seriously underpowered it. Now maybe this will get lucky and register a lighter spin bounce. It really doesn't. So we'll be well short on the green, 30 feet away. That was going to be a real tough make anyway. We'll see if we can save the birdie and just move on. See if we can have nicer conditions on holes 8 and 9. We'll sink the birdie putt, so some not so great play on holes 6 and 7. Now granted, tough conditions. If I wasn't trying to be real aggressive, maybe I would have played them a little bit better. But I have to be real aggressive here. And we save birdies anyway, so the scorecard looks pretty good. Okay, we see lighter winds compared to what hole 8 often gives you. This feels like an opportunity. I'm going to hit this with about 3 dots of power, maybe slightly less, slightly on the lower side of that. And maybe that'll give it a run. I feel like it's going to move a little more to the right, because this is so downhill. We'll try that out. Oh, not the right shot. Too much power. That's probably going to go off the back of the green. This is such a precise shot. And for whatever reason, I just jolted my hand a little bit too much. Got too much power on it. This pin is difficult. Often hard to hold the green when you miss power. Not a lot of margin for error on that one. Now we'll have to make a good chip here. I have typically missed this one to the right, so I'm going to adjust a little more left than maybe it feels like I should. We'll try that. Okay, just way too much power. Short and right has been the miss, and I really overcompensate for that. And now we'll have a tougher par putt from 25 feet. So this is what this pin can do to you when you play it too aggressively and you don't make it. So not that bad of a miss. I mean, I mispowered that by maybe 0.1 dots, and this is what happens. That's why hole 8 is often considered one of the more disliked holes in this game, because it's difficult. Yeah, we won't even make par, so we'll have to bogey. Now, that's not even the easiest of bogey putts. That's side hill, because there's no good miss other than, like, left, short left. So oftentimes on this pin, I'll just try to leave it short left. And I'll lip out the bogey putt. That was not... I don't think that felt like the putt that I made. I don't think that's what I actually did. Sometimes you can argue that with the game, but I don't know. I didn't even blast that up the hill. Just hit a normal 1-dot putt there, and it gave me like 1.5. Anyway, 2 eagles on the scorecard. We'll ignore what the scorecard actually looks like. We'll see if we can pick up a third here. Evil winds are not going to help our case. Wow, 29 miles an hour straight in the face. We'll see if we can steal one from this game. Now, we will be able to put this up and over the tree, I believe, with the 3-iron. That's probably going to be the best play here. Now, I'll have to be careful, though, because in this wind direction, sometimes the shot could even push towards the water, so I don't know. I feel like this is kind of safe, though. This feels safe enough.
Nice shot.
Yeah, we won't make it nearly as close to the water as I was fearing. That'll be fine. And that'll actually be a pretty nice spot to hit from. So as far as these wind conditions go, probably about the best play I could have made. And now we'll just have to give this a run with the 5-iron. Aim it way across the green. And you don't want to hit this too hard, because it's real easy to go over the back. But right about there feels about good. We'll just try that out. Just have to give it a chance. That's all I can do.
Nice shot.
That felt like the right shot. Is it going to get there? I don't think it will. Yeah, that's going to bite pretty hard and come all the way back down. So tougher conditions on 9. We'll have a 30-foot uphill putt that's going to move a lot right to left. So we'll have to be real careful with this one. Oh, that didn't feel good, but it'll sink. Okay. I don't think any putt was actually going to feel good there. So a tougher 30-foot putt on hole 9 after a debacle on 8. We'll get one back. And now we'll see hole 10 with some nicer winds. So once again, we have early eagles and terrible conditions. Now, hole 8 had some nicer conditions. I just misplayed it. But hole 8 is also one that I have never, ever made on that pin. That pin is just brutal. So hole 6 and 8 kind of seem like lost causes oftentimes in this challenge. And then the ones that I needed on holes 6, 7, 9 all gave me some pretty bad conditions.
Nice shot.
It felt like a good shot on 10 here. Hopefully that rolls out. It will. So we'll pick up a clutch third eagle, a much needed eagle on hole 10. We need 6 more. We have 8 holes to do it. And fortunately, the back 9 is a lot more eagleable. So if we can pick up a couple of lucky shots here, we'll have, 0 wind on hole 10. So I want to aim this about to there, I'd guess. Actually, you know what? I feel like I've been misplaying this with 0 wind. So I'm going to try something different, something that I feel like is going to work better. Just a slight adjustment to the right from what I feel like I need to do. And we'll see if we can spin that back from that angle. This feels like a better angle. I've missed this a bunch of times. Hopefully this will give me a make. That's what I wanted to do. Hopefully that gets the right landing spot. That looks pretty good. Will it zip back down? It will. And it'll sink. So my readjustment gives me the hole-in-one on hole 11. That feels really good. It barely snuck in there. But oh man, I finally take advantage of the 0 wind on hole 11. That shot feels real good. So now we have 4 eagles through 11. We need 5 in the last 7, and we have 3 par 5s that are more eagleable, and here is one of them. So hole 12 with 6-mile-an-hour winds pushing us to the left.
Nice shot.
We hit a good first shot. That's always the key. We'll send this down there with the spoon because we don't have a lot of tailwind or headwind, really any tail or headwind to deal with, so I can hit the proper spoon shot with a little over 3 dots of power. Now the adjustment is going to be what's important here. I'm just going to guess it's going to be to about there. I don't want to do a ton, but I think that's about right. Yeah, we'll go to about there. That feels like the right adjustment. Feels like it should give it a chance. Just to put it real close, and at least make the eagle if I don't hold this out. It looks really good. It may have too much power, though. Will it hit the fringe? Oh, it will. Oh, man, I hit the fringe. And it won't even hold the green. So hitting the fringe, as I've said so many times, especially in a condition like this where you're hitting it really far, is like hitting the cart path. I don't know why that's the case in this game, but it is. It's what we have to deal with. And now we'll have... Is this a chip or a putt? I'm going to call this a chip, actually, because the putt is going to move a lot. And the perspective is so weird when you're putting from the fringe. It's tough to tell what it's going to do. So I'm actually going to chip this. Because the chip feels more straightforward. Alright. Probably about there for power. We'll give it a run. Oh, that feels clutch. Okay, a nice chip. A nice save after hitting the fringe on hole 12. Now it nearly bounced out. Let's check the replay. Yeah, it almost popped out the other side, so... Another one that sent a jolt of adrenaline through my body, but we've had 2 of those now. But we have 5 eagles. We're on a good pace. This is not the easiest of hole 13s here. We'll adjust it to about there. We'll try that. I'm going to hit the 5-iron. Hopefully land this just right of the pin. If I get the power right, that feels about good. So land it just, yeah, right of the pin. Hopefully it rolls back down to the left.
Nice shot.
That felt like a perfect shot. Looks real good. Oh, it'll clip the pin. Just barely. And because of that, it ends up 30 feet away. So the pin takes all the spin off the ball in this game. And that's a real unfortunate break. I've hit the pin here so many times. And through the wind. That's such a small target. But it just happens so often for whatever reason. Like, that is not a very easy target to hit as consistently as it feels like I do. But gotta play the game. That's what the game is. We'll roll that down there for the birdie. So a real close call. Now, I've had a number of close calls so far that have fallen. We'll have to make 4 eagles in the last 5 holes. Hole 17, always super difficult. So we'll have to make eagles really on the rest of them that are more doable. Not a bad setup here. I think if I hit this with the proper power, so maybe about there on the power meter, that should sneak through those trees nicely.
Nice shot.
I may have ended up with a little too much power. It's on a good line, though, so hopefully it just catches that tree lightly and hits the fairway. Okay, all I needed was the fairway, and that's what I get. So not the most precise of plays, but just 1 degree of precision off, and I get away with it. So we'll use the 3-iron here. I'll adjust this to about there, and this should glide to a stop as long as I hit the power right. So hopefully we can just put this nice and close to the pin, maybe give it a run, but from this distance, it's tough to think about the albatross. Bless you. Off-camera sneezes are going on today. Bless you again. All right. Let's try to make this one. Always trying to make it. Even though I'm going for eagles, albatrosses are cool.
Nice shot.
That felt about right, if that gets the right kick. Now hopefully it just glides to a stop. It kind of will. We'll end up, okay, 6 feet past the pin. Now the problem here is that 6 to 7 feet with these side hill putts is just begging to have that little glitch happen, where it gives you like no power. The putt just falls short. So I have to aim way up this hill and probably hit it with like that much power and just hope that it doesn't end up too high. Okay, whew. That was... Now that's a really short putt. Like if you're just watching this like casually and you don't play super often, I'm hoping it's entertaining to watch for the general population. But that putt there, for some reason in this game, is so unbelievably scary and hard to try to hit. Okay, we'll put that behind us though. We'll move on to hole 15. We get the eagle on 14. Let's put that one in the short right part of the fairway. If it clips the rough first, that's totally fine. And that'll actually launch nicely to a nice spot in the fairway. So oftentimes with that tailwind, if you hit the rough first, you still get the launch anyway. And now we'll have a real pure tailwind shot. So I want to land this barely left of the pin and roll it back down. And hopefully the roll back pushes it to the right. So I'll try that out. Want to aim this a little less than pin high because the wind is going to push it so far. I'm adjusting just slightly to the left because I don't want to hit the pin, and the kick goes to the right. So there's a lot to think about here. But we'll see if we can execute a good shot. Oh, that feels like it's underpowered. Maybe it'll get lucky though. Yeah, it'll just glide to a stop. So not my best play. If that hit a better spot, that may have bitten and come back and taken a different kick. So it ends up with a decent result. I mean, a putt from 5 feet or so isn't that bad of a miss. But just didn't really give it much of a chance. I mishit that one. An unfortunate break there on 15. We have 6 eagles on the scorecard and 3 holes to play. So this is the furthest we've gone in this 9 eagles challenge. Oh my goodness. Terrible wins on hole 16. That is not what I want to see. Terrible, terrible wins, but we have to go for it, right? I think you can actually get this. This would be kind of wild, though. I mean, I don't really have any other option in this round other than to try it. So maybe if I make this, those wins get leveled up from being terrible. Will I make it there? Oh, I'm an inch OB. You have got to be kidding me. So there's the answer. You can't make it with 29 mile an hour winds. You are an inch short. Wow. Okay. Now I'll just have to play this hole out. Ugh. What a bad RNG result on hole 16 here with that wind. The worst direction, I mean not the worst direction, but one of the worst powers in a bad direction is not something you see every day. I mean, you have to get unlucky to see those conditions, and we do. So we'll just try to continue to make this entertaining.
Nice shot.
See if we can put that one close. If that falls... Okay, I'm a little glad that didn't fall, because if I went left first and made the eagle from the left fairway, it would have been really, really difficult to do, because that's just like a regular old, really bad crosswind shot. Or really difficult crosswind shot, I should say. But, I mean, I had to try it, right? And I got real close. But the answer is now you cannot make it. Maybe 26 miles an hour you can make it, like we see here. Terrible conditions towards the end here. This game doesn't like me sometimes when I'm on a good pace. But we just got to keep playing. You got to play what the game gives you. I mean, the game can give you 26 to 30-mile-an-hour winds. And sometimes it does, and you have to deal with it. We'll try that adjustment, see what happens.
Nice
Now
shot.
hopefully that gets up there, and the wind pushes it a little further. Okay, it will get that little launch. So as far as that shot goes, not a bad result.
Nice.
Being within 30 feet on the green with red winds on hole 17 is not very easy to do, at least for me. So now we'll have to hit this back up the hill. Plenty of power to get it there. And that'll fall for a nice birdie on 17. We don't have a good round going because of that hole 8 debacle and being an inch OB on 16 going for the eagle. So we'll be 18 under, I believe. I actually forgot to check after I said that, but I believe we're 18 under. And we see, of course, light winds on hole 18 after the game ripped the possibility of 9 eagles away from me. So we'll just send that out to the left fairway. Anything less than 9 miles an hour, even if it's pure headwind, can make it to that left fairway, which is a much easier angle at this green. I'm going to aim this about there, I'd say. That feels pretty good. I'll use the 3-iron, and maybe I'll roll this one up there. I don't exactly know if that's the proper play, but I'm going to give that a shot. We'll roll it up there. I want to land this just short of the green, so about that much power, I'd say. And we'll see if that gets a good bounce
Nice shot.
and gets there. That looks good if that gets a good first bounce and makes it up and over and rolls down. And wow, we were on line for the albatross. That was going to hit dead center if I hit that just a tiny bit harder. So I guess I'll have to make a mental note of that aim and how the rollout works when it works well. And we'll make the eagle. That'll be eagle number 7. So the best that we've done in the 9 Eagles challenge. However, we saw some difficult conditions. Got some unlucky breaks on some of the holes that we really needed, such as 16. 9 did not have the nicest of conditions. 15, I just kind of mishit a shot. And 5 also may have been eagleable, but just missed it. So we'll have to try again tomorrow. I think I played pretty well on the holes that I played well. I mean, I played poorly on 2 of them, clearly. But not a bad round overall. We'll try again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. And we're going to just keep trying to get eagles until we get a nice low score and pick up all 9 that I'm looking for. So we'll see you then.